Welcome, Coach. Welcome, Leon.
Good evening, both Dennis and Coach.
Okay, thank you. Nice to have you with us tonight. Now, Coach, the Indian Express traveling to collect the 2023 ICC World Cup ran out of steam 1 mile from the station. The engine lost steam, and the engineer on this train, Captain Rohit Sharma, could not fix it. The assistant engineers, Kohli and Rahul, they tried. Unfortunately, their help was not enough. The men stoking the flames, the quintet of Bumrah, Shami, Jadeja, Yadav, and Siraj, they could not find a nut, bolt, or a screwdriver to fix the problem. So India, batting first, managed to score 240 runs with contributions from Sharma, 47, Kohli, 54, Rahul, 66. By the 10th over, India had scored at a decent 7.6 runs per over. However, 7 bowlers from Australia collectively held India in check. Stark, 3 for 55, Hazelwood, 2 for 60, Cummins, 2 for 34. When Australia batted, opener Travis Head played his finest innings of late. 137 runs from 120 balls. And Labuschagne took Kohli's advice and batted like he was in a test match. He confidently supported Head as the junior partner, scoring 58 not out. The partnership between Head and Labuschagne, 192 runs, was enough to break the back of the Indian bowlers. The spirit of the Indian team and quieted the roar of Blue Wave. So Australia won the coveted trophy yet again. The margin was 6 wickets with 7 overs to spare. Australia, the team who looked mediocre in the first 2 matches and were comprehensively defeated, yes, they did look as if they were on their way back home early. In no small part, Australia must never forget the heroics of Glenn Maxwell, 201 runs drubbing of Afghanistan. If not for that victory, Australia was in dire straits. My heart cries for India. This defeat, the only one of this tournament, came at the worst time, and the price of victory and defeat was stark. However, $2 million is bittersweet, but not as sweet as Australia's ride home with a check for $4 million. Congratulations to all the teams who participated the past 6 weeks of sleepless nights for me, but such an incredible 6 days of great entertainment and unbelievable exploits. Congratulations to ICC, to India, and to all the teams who participated. Coach Leon, that's how I saw the final match and, of course, comment on the entire tournament. How do you see it, Leon?
Well, it was a great final. Too bad the team that had the greatest success throughout the tournament didn't come out ahead. I was really thinking that India would have gone through, but the Aussies had a different mindset. Winning the toss, I thought, was important because one would have thought that Cummins would have batted first, but he seemed to have known something. He decided to send the opposition in. And the captain, Rohit, he started in a hurry. And the others could not continue. And what he did, Cummins did, used up some of his non-regular spinners, and Wood Kohli and the others were just getting singles. It seems as if all the boundaries were tied up, were dried up. Then in the end, the 100 and 200 and change, 240 they make was far from enough. When the Aussies batted, of course, they lost a few wickets, and I thought those wickets that were lost were gifted, chasing balls outside the off stump and Warner, and then, of course, losing the third wicket and the fourth wicket in Smith. The Smith LBW should have been challenged. He did not. But Labashani, and one point I want to make is that appeal for leg before against Labashani of Bumrah, where the umpire called it, it would have stood. But once they called it, he gave him the thumbs up and gave him the decision to Bumrah. The outcome might have changed, because in as much as he was batting well, had that umpire said, fingers up, I didn't think that maybe the other batters would have overcome the total. Now, I see a lot of talk about the pitch. I see a talk about the off-field, what happened off-field. But the greatest thing, Australia are professionals. They knew how to bat through storm. They weathered the storm. And it was just an easy walkover. And then Head again came to the party with a magnificent century, 137. And all in all, we see the Indians being challenged at home. It was a bitter pill to swallow for them, because you could see the 130,000 people who came to the party to celebrate could not. And I saw tears in the eyes, and to be playing so well, and then when it came to the final moment, you were let down. And the Aussies, to me, fielded better, because I saw the wicketkeeper, KL, he allowed a lot of extras. At one stage, a ball went through his feet for a boundary. And it was distressing to see him. I don't think a lot of catches were dropped, but the important thing, the fielding was not up to scratch, and the buys and extras that were allowed were just not enough for final. Congratulations to the Aussies and winning their sixth title, and that is a great performance for a team. And you mentioned how they started badly, those two losses, early losses, but they knew that they were still in the game. And I say it's going to be hard if we are talking about West Indies going to Australia shortly. Going to be a difficult task to overcome. But again, congratulations to the Aussies. You deserve to win because you played a better cricket on the night that really matters. That's my take, Dennis.
Yes, definitely. Congratulations to Australia, because in almost all departments, they did really good on this particular day. As I told you in a pre-game show, whoever come up with the bowling and fielding will be the winner. So here, credit goes to the Australian bowlers. Absolutely, the one outstanding difference between these two teams is the fielding. Australia started from very first over by diving and stopping these boundaries and allow you just one or two instead of boundaries, and that created the pressure. There's absolutely no blame to any Indian player. Everyone did their own way. But if I have to say in a one sentence, the outcome of this game was decided by the conditions of the pitch. Time to time, it did change. And whatever we're getting out of the pitch has made a huge difference between first inning and the last inning. Absolutely, wicket keeping is a part of the fielding. And when you have, there's a huge difference, like they saved like 20 to 30 runs and you give easily 30 runs, that's a 60-run difference actually to me. And that's a major concern. When you're coming in this tournament, everyone comes for the win. And absolutely, all my life, I know when I take the field, I want to win. That's usually your primary interest. Then you work hard for it, you compete, and end of the day, it's a part of the game. There is a loss. We have to swallow it. When you win 10 games and going in a final, it does require a different mindset for sure, because this is the high profile championship game. One of the day, you have to do well, otherwise everything can be in a vain. To me, it looks like a lack of intent and overconfidence was carrying in Indian camp because of the billions of people's expectation to win this tournament. And that has been carried over. And when the things did not go to their plan, they all fell apart. But even though we need to give a credit to Indian team also, because even this is a hard situation, hard to believe for anyone who has watched or who has been to the grounds. It's hard to believe, but it did happen. That's what we see. And all I can say, India still stands high because it definitely has beat each and every team who participated in this tournament. And end of the day, after the final, they did show their sportsmanship.
Yeah.
What it means, they don't have this one particular day or maybe one particular hour out of this game which wasn't belong to them or did turn around the game the other side. But there is a opportunity to learn the lesson. It's just a game, but the people labeled it or the ICC labeled it as ICC Championship game. So credit also need to be given to the players. At least they took the field fight for it, because losing without fighting doesn't make sense in any sports or any event. And they did compete. They did compete. They tried their best. So to be honest with you, I'm delighted and excited to see the outcome. And as we always discuss, on any given day, the team is doing better. That's how this ODI is about. It's a one day. It depends on how you perform and how you take advantage of chances or some life you get on field. You need to carry on. And that's exactly what he has done. The major, I will say, plus point for me as a coaching side is definitely it's a very impressive captaincy from Pat Cummins from Australia. His fielding arrangement from first over, first ball, it's awesome. Which we notice, most of the balls used to go straight to the fielders. And top of that, they did the baseball style fielding, where they're stopping you from taking the first run in the first place. And that gives the pressure to any team. On the other side of the India, they not just let the easy, but I think they were scoring runs against Indian fielding easily. Don't forget, Australia was the team in early 2000, the first team in a world cricket to appoint a professional fielding coach. The reason I like to mention, legend Mike Young, the baseballer from USA, went to Australia to expand and develop baseball team, and he ended up with the opportunity to help the Australian side in fielding. If you look at their diving, if you look at their collecting ball, quick throwing, there's a lots of things you can say is their investment on a fielding side, which is paid off even after 20 years. And that is the major reason that India came out in a situation hard to score 8 runs. And the bowlers did well, fielders did that job. End of the day, as we say, better team wins. And that's what the Australia took the World Cup.
Thank you, Coach. A couple of points. I think Leon said if the umpire had raised his finger. Now, that to me is a very loaded statement, Leon, because we do have DRS system, and quite clearly the umpire did not think that was out.
Yeah, that's true.
But so it's a loaded statement, but nonetheless, I take the spirit in which it was given.
Because Dennis, because in my view, if the ball would have hit the stumps, the batsman should have been given out. But the umpire didn't think so, and the review saw that it would have hit the leg stump, and that to me was a great disadvantage at that point. But we have to go with the umpire decision, which is final. So,
well, I think this is the controversial point we are talking for last 6 years, I think.
Yes.
Umpire's call, and I believe ICC will consider to revamp this call. It does not make sense. It's not easy to convince a normal fan who is watching and the stands. You're showing them the video, ball is hitting, and you still say umpire's call. Yes. What is the umpire's call? If there is an umpire call, and if you don't agree, that is where it's coming for review.
Yes.
So what's the point of this review system when you call back and say, okay, umpire's call?
Yes.
Then either remove the umpire or remove the third umpire. One of them should need to be go in this system.
I very much agree with that statement, Coach. And I think in one of our previous segments or discussions, we did touch on this point about umpire's call and so on. But so be it. At any rate, I hope that something is done to make some more significant change to this business of umpire's call. And if the DRS shows that ball, without however much it would have hit the wicket, it is out, because you and me both know one snippet, one half an inch of that ball striking one of those, it has the capacity to remove the bail. So umpire's call situation needs to be reviewed. You also made the point about investing in fielding, and I think that was a very, very good point. And you know what that reminds me of, Coach? Michael Holding mentioned something similar in one of his books, in which he said the West Indies in their A days, especially when they went to Australia, having invested in a fielding coach or a fitness coach or a physio, somebody who got the muscles of these guys working, it paid dividend, because when they had the test match series, they became unbeatable simply because they were so much fitter. So I really take that point about investing, how brilliant it was.
I can tell you why it's important, because it's not about how many boundaries you score or how many hit sixes. Doesn't win you game. But if you stick with the basics, what is the cricket basics? Game is decided by the runs. So let me say this way. It's a triple impact. Every time when you are in a fielding, let's say you are fielding first in a game, if you give a 1 run, that means you or your team has to come back in the second inning to score the 1 run to tie. And there is an additional effort needed, 1 more extra run you have to score to win it. But if you stop this 1 run, you are ahead of it. It's a simple, basic formula, and I think Australia stick with it. When they were fielding first, they tried to save as many as boundaries and runs they can, and they succeed. Simple.
Yep. Coach, is it true that when you're physically fit, you're also mentally fit?
Mentally fit is a one side. You cannot make any equation like if somebody is too strong, doing good weightlifting, running all day, and he's a mentally fit. No. It's on the other side is the same thing. If somebody is a mental fit, but you don't have the physical fitness. No. These are the two different things. And you need both in order to succeed. So you must improve your mental fitness as well as you have to double up your physical fitness, because the mind is going to control the body. And that is what these all people talk about, mindset. And over here, I think India lost that mindset. As the game started progressing, because of that lack of intent and overconfidence, they lost that mindset.
Another question, Dennis, just give me. Do you think the fact that India changed their opening attack?
No, it was the same. No. See, India was, when they enter in a final, India has the best power play performance, period. And we have seen that Rohit Sharma goes the aggressive anchor role to start taking over the bowlers. And so many times, it's not about his 20-run contribution or 50-run contribution, but India was able to set that tone very early in the inning, so the middle order can come out and take care of the business for you. But over here, it was unfortunate because after his wicket fall, I think pitch was not that great where the batters can bat on. And that was a little bit a setback. They tried to save wicket for a while. I'm talking about Virat Kohli and Rahul, KL Rahul. They are both capable batsmen and they could have done it well. But it's just one of the day. They lasted long. They put together their runs needed. But unfortunately, when the time come on to trigger on, they did not work. And that is where the India lost that momentum.
Coach, I thought I heard you say India had the mindset or lost the mindset.
It was a disturbed mindset, I call it, not the lost mindset. It was a disturbed mindset. They had the mindset, they had the intent, but I think that intent was a lack, right? It's a little bit they lost. And when you lost and whatever the expectation and confidence you're carrying in a game, it can be in a different situation. And that is what happened, which we call it the pressure. When the pressure builds on, you are expected to make more mistakes.
Coach, you said they lost the mindset, but to me, it's not that they lost the mindset. I think they went in with the mindset that they had this game in the bag. And so they did
That is the overconfidence.
They did not.
Yeah. That is the overconfidence. And the lack of intent means they don't have the clear goal, what they're trying to do, and they did not stick with it.
Right.
For multiple reason, the both things with the expectation did not go well. That is the bottom line. So intent fell, overconfidence was there, and they lost a little bit mindset. And combining together, when you're carrying expectation, you are expecting failure too. It's a high risk with the expectations.
Coach, we might just, and Leon, we might just take a few minutes to look at the overall series, this tournament. Not that we're going to dig deep inside, but we can look at some of the chatter, the noise that we heard coming out of this tournament. For example, the Angelo Matthews situation, that was quite a stir. But as I see it, it's not so much that he got timed out, but that Angelo Matthews, with his years of experience playing, having gone out to the middle, did not have the foresight or the sense to say to the umpire, I've got a problem here. And consequently, he took the whole situation, he took it as normal and went, and what developed after that was purely because Matthews behaved in a rather silly way of approach. Not that I'm saying the 2-minute time factor is accurate, is something that should not be looked at. But Matthews had an opportunity to do something about that, and he failed to do so. How did you see that, Leon? How did you see that?
I'm glad that I read something today that they are going away with the timeout and do a 5-run penalty for not being able to start. So I think it is much for unfortunate. And like you said, Matthew should have known better. He felt that he had time to diddle around when in fact he knew there was only two minutes. How long can 2 minutes last? And you have a problem, try and face the ball. He did not do that. And then at the end, when he saw that the captain was serious, he was pleading to him, but he had already made his decision. I see. I really don't like to get a wicket that way, dismiss a person that way. But it's the rules, and he should have known better. And just like Mankari, if you leave, I feel different about that because the guy is cheating in my view. But this guy, I don't think he was doing that. But the laws are the laws, and he should have known better. And he got the results. But so it's cricket, and you have to accept these things, and you know better. Others will see it and then will do otherwise if that situation arises and they are involved.
I think, as you said, this thing happened first time in cricket history.
Yes.
So let's hope that's the last time too.
Exactly.
Some amendments are coming in the laws because laws are, to me, is a little bit confusing situation there. That was the argument on the field. The reason for that, there was a 3-minute timeout situation, and now they invented like 2-minute timeout, and it doesn't matter 3 minute or 2 minute. As a coaching side, I will say, can we be specific when this time starts? If you say when the umpire gives you out, your time starts, then there are some incidents when the batsman is walking back to pavilion. Umpires usually hold them to wait for the TV review to see if the decision can be changed. Then my concern is when this time starts, the counting, 2 minute or 3 minute, whatever it is, right? Need to be specific. It's a mess, I will say. If you stick with the current law, then it will be very confusing for the scorers, umpires, and everyone else in the game. Sometimes 2 minutes is not good enough, especially ground like this Ahmedabad. You are walking from the stairs, huge walk because it's a large field. 2 minutes is not good enough. So let's hope the things can change and came out with specific. Honestly speaking, to me, in my opinion, we should not have timeout in ODI and T20. Keep that timeout in Test cricket. That's okay, right? But ODI and T20 doesn't make sense. And if I had to move forward on those controversial umpiring calls, I was doing analysis. The majority of the umpiring call comes on LBW. Even ball is hitting or touching, they still say umpire's call. I would say in a T20 and T10, get rid of that LBW. We have a very small amount of time. Why we are wasting time here?
Okay. Yep. Well, that's an innovation that might well be worth trying. You know.
I mean, to my opinion, let's say if you are playing T10, that's a 60 ball. I love to have batsmen who come into the stumps and get the ball on their pad for 30 times. I'm good at it because that team is losing. If you got a ball on your pad and if you can't run, you're wasting time here.
That's a positive thought idea.
So instead of that, why don't you just let it go free?
Yes.
Don't worry about LBW. Make the another rule. If the ball hits the pad, you are not allowed to run. Not even leg by. Done.
I might add that Leon mentioned the timeout, that it wasn't, he was not so much in favor of getting a wicket that way. But you know, I must share my experience as an past umpire, that the competitiveness when it comes to timeout is there even at the local level. And there are so many times at the local matches that I officiated in where without fail, the skipper of the fielding side was invariably appealing to me for timeout of a batter. But of course, it's local cricket, so I had to take into account some of the happenings in and off the field. And very often, I don't think I've ever given one, but the point is, it's very competitively used in local cricket, although how many time it's been given is really and truly not many. But moving on
my opinion, my opinion is this game is growing. Over the years, we have seen, especially when Dennis says I used to be umpire. Now you have read the books in last 20 years. You know how many laws are changing. Yes. We are always adding something, modifying something. Now world is going fast forward, small version of game coming. I think it's time to remove and reduce those laws.
Yes.
Not to add it to them. And that is for the reason there are lots of laws, I will say, which are rarely used. Eliminate those. And at the same time, when the shorter version game is coming more popular, T20 and T10, I will say, can we make it super simple? So remove those controversial call situation. There is no point to waste time.
All right.
Right. To me,
because of that, there is another complicated come out, I think, just like Leon said, I read that one today. They are introducing now another time situation, like between 2 overs, you have 1 minute to start the over. If you don't start the over in 1 minute, you'll be penalized for 5 runs. Then my biggest concern is when you start that 1 minute after that over, when the umpire calls it, or when the last ball was delivered, or when the wicket keeper leave that position. You know what I'm trying to say? These are the things they need to be really serious. Where this time, this is the extra time. Maybe I think they are looking for the 5th umpire job with the 2 timers.
Yes, yes. But coach, what is driving this sort of change here? Because it seems ridiculous for cricket that you should be standing there with a timer to say you have 1 minute to start the over. It doesn't happen because you've got fielders moving from east to west in some instances, or north to south. And if you've got a long boundary, it is not practically possible to do this. This is nonsense.
Make sense at all. It does not make sense at all. And this game is definitely going towards the baseball and soccer, which is the other part, we call it football. If you look at so many things happening, going towards that, then why don't they just adopt and accept what other game does? For example, soccer. Whatever the time you waste on the field for any reason beyond the normal play, the rule is simple. The match referee will add those minutes at the end of the inning to make sure that you got that 90 minutes of playing time. That's on one side.
No.
Let me finish first. Let me finish first with thing, and you'll be surprised what I'm trying to say. There is another version in a baseball, basketball, and American football, right? They only count action minutes. Time is only running when the action is in play. Means any situation in a dead ball, timeout, breakout, injuries has nothing to do with it. So over here, I'm not sure where this formula comes about this 1 minute time between 2 overs. I do not buy that. In my opinion, we should not have this situation. Either you follow soccer or baseball and come out with this timing situation. It got to be super simple. And one thing makes sense is use the time the fielders are wasting or the
Mhm.
batters are wasting in limited overs and extend.
Yeah.
There is no point of making laws and rules and adding penalties. It doesn't help much. And we have seen the outcry, even in CPL this year, when they started that penalty because of the slower run rate, overrun rate, right? They are
Yes.
penalizing like one field short. So
Yes.
the players are not happy with it. Can we make it something simple here?
Coach, you have an excellent idea, one that I would readily support. Go ahead, Leon.
What about the time that the umpire uses, or the
Exactly.
umpires uses for the change of balls? You examine
the balls
and put and examine the ball to see if it has the same circumference. That
a
has
lot of time to umpire talks
lot
in
of
between,
time.
going for
Yeah.
the third umpire. Where
Yeah.
is this time? What is the clock on that? Do we need the sixth umpire?
Exactly.
Coach, you have an excellent idea, and I'm going to say I'll remember that, and I'll tell the world I heard it here first on the cricket show, because that is an excellent idea. Start the games maybe half an hour earlier in the morning or in the night, and then you have the time at the end to make up.
Not needed. Look at the baseball. Baseball only has a start time, never can be a finish time.
Right.
Basketball, football, other games, including soccer, none of these games has an end time. They always have a start time.
Start time.
The reason for that, like if you look at the last FIFA World Cup, there was one game has given like 8.5 extra minutes.
Yeah.
But most of the other games were wrapped up in less than 3 minutes. So you got here a little bit breather here. If it is game goes beyond about 5 or 10 minutes to your scheduled time, what is a big deal here?
Yeah. Agreed.
Can we make something super simple for the fans?
Yeah.
Well, you got 2 thumbs up from my side, because
yes,
great
I
idea.
agree. I concur.
Now, Coach, there's another little thing that we heard gripes about during this World Cup. And rumor has it that at one point or one time, Team England was forced not to dive on an outfield at Dharamsala. What was happening in a situation like that? Why are we hearing this little whisper? Is this something of any substance, or is this idle chatter?
You read the media right, whatever happened and whoever reported. To me, the one positive side I like to have it here is we are trying to keep the player safety first. So that was the one call. Yes, absolutely. At this level of tournament, we should not have that kind of situation, telling team not to do certain things during the action, because every team is coming out there to fight and win. And all it takes, they will be doing diving and hard working there or running around. Everything they can do to win the game, they will be doing it. Limiting from something, it's a definitely setback for the team's plan, and the tactics can change. Certain fielders are prefer to dive, there are certain fielders prefer to run quick. So there are like multiple options out there. But when you restrain or limit someone to not to do certain things with a warning, that's a disappointment.
What was driving that? I mean, was it just idle chatter, or did something happen, or sour grapes? What?
To me, looks like the outfield is not proper or not ready or not safe. Then those grounds, suppose they're not to use it. You know, they have the option to just call it off or something. Why you want to just keep playing with the modified rules or giving some restriction? And I don't think this kind of game procedure or protocol is exist. But the umpire's call is a final all the time.
Yes.
Do we not have, or did they not have a match referee and
I'm not sure. That is what I say. They usually have the game protocols or game procedures and the guidelines they usually follow, and the umpires makes call in convincible communication with the match referee. Match referee decides in such sort of a situation. So we exactly don't know. But as I said, if you look at the safety, I love it. But the way it has been asked for the team to do something like restraining or limiting, that's not right thing to do, especially for world stage event.
Yep, that's
The-
no comment for me. I just concur.
Yeah. Coach, there was talk of in the England-New Zealand semi-final, was that the semi-final? England-New Zealand, sorry.
New Zealand, India
New
semi-final.
Zealand, India-New Zealand match. There was talk at the end, although I did not hear any comments from New Zealand, but there was talk going around in the local media that something underhanded may have taken place because a certain pitch that was used the previous time had been used this match. And so what exactly are they getting at, and why does that make or not make any sense?
Oh dear, I'll not be able to speak on that particular topic, but I can tell you one thing for sure. Whatever the pitch is ready on game day, both teams are using same pitch and you have to move on. Most of the venues you see, they have either 6 or 8 parallel pitches. For whatever the reason, they usually prepare 1 or 2. The most likely in this kind of situation, when you have world stage event, they usually have 2 or 3 tracks ready to go for a reason, And in the morning, I think it's a groundsman's responsibility to give you the track. It's not the player's choice, team choice, media choice, or match referee or umpire choice. No. Groundsman decides what is the best track is open and available for today. So if the groundsman has worked on a separate track day before and somebody look at it like, oh, he's working for tomorrow. And if you come next morning and if you see he's rolling and finishing another track, I do not buy that conversation, period. To me, as far as I know, the rules, conditions, and the laws, you all care about what is available for you before the toss. If somebody is changing the pitch after the toss, then I'm concerned. But when you make the toss and match referee tells you this is the ready to go track, we already put lines and stumps and ready to go. Umpire's job is to run the game and player's job is to play the game. That's it.
Exactly.
So
I hear Ricky Ponting made some comment that to me. Yeah.
I mean, there is, I can tell you a few reasons about this controversial situation that sometimes team look for their specific interest of track. I like say, for example, New Zealand, they look for the greenish top where they can get some swing sort of thing. If it is a South Asian continent team, you are looking for a little bit cracky, hard surface which can turn the spinners, right? So there is some special interest. But end of the day, if the track is ready on the game day, and if it is available to you, we need to play on. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. So it sounds to me like it was just sour grapes from somebody. Because
no, but he was winning though. Ricky was winning. He won it. His team won. So
no, I think this was the match between.
No, this one New Zealand, India.
Okay,
New Zealand lost
England,
to
yeah, okay.
India.
But in that match, Coach, India batted for 367, I think it was. And New Zealand came short by about 60
30,
runs.
40 runs, something.
30, 40 runs. So on that track, in spite of the comments that were being made, there were plenty of runs there for both sides, and it shows that both sides took this thing seriously. So it sounds like there might have been a little bit of sour grapes going on there.
It happens because you playing in India and these all 10 venues we have in this World Cup has a different environment, different moisture, different dew factor, different humidity, different temperature. So the condition does changes. So you don't expect what you have seen on one ground and you're not getting second ground. No, it's a completely different business.
Go ahead, Leon.
No, I'm just making a comment. I say, all in all, I think India did a fine job in pulling off this tournament. You know, when we started, we saw kind of sparsely occupied stands. But to me, to get those millions of people inside those venues is remarkable.
And out of these 48 games altogether in this World Cup, let's say if you're talking Dharamsala 1, India, New Zealand 2, and final, the 45 games went well where nobody's talking about pitch. So that's a huge success.
Yeah, very
Right?
well.
Almost 90+% success for the World Cup host.
Coach, overall, I saw a report from ICC which said 1.25 million fans went through the turnstiles. I have to ask myself, where else in the cricketing world would you get 1.25 million paying customer going through the game? So this was a formidable, well, I'm lost for word to describe the success here in getting spectators in there, the interest. It was, in fact, it suggests to me that possibly ICC should make it
mandatory.
Mandatory to have all these matches in a venue where you can get 1.25 in the stand.
Because India would benefit, you know, if not from the gates, they proceed from visitors coming to the hotels and taxi drivers, you name it, you know.
The only other country can beat that attendance record is China, north of India.
Yes.
Because they got more population than India. Other than that, ICC need to scratch their head. Which other country even has a population close to Pakistan? Forget the India.
Well,
I think you can combine all associate countries and all full-time members in ICC. I don't think they can match number with India. That's a population they have.
No way.
Right? Yeah. So there's no point to talk about this great success. No, they counting this number. That's okay because you played in India, right?
Yep.
And India's population is growing day by day. And in this particular World Cup, they bring a lot of foreign viewers too, the fans, right? So there's like numbers will be always high. And I will say I will not surprise if you build a stadium which can fit 200,000 people, India can pack up.
Yep. That would be enormous.
There was one little rumbling I'd heard, Coach, about this entire tournament, and that was it was too long in terms of time it took to completion.
Yep.
Would it have been a better fix for 2 matches per day to be played rather than 1 as they were doing for this World?
This will be again the huge concern. And in my opinion, they need to go like a soccer. If you look at the soccer Olympic or FIFA, they usually have 2 to 3 games on the same day.
Yeah.
Different venue, different teams playing. But over here, looks like they have limited crew or limited resources. That's why they are going to have like a 1 game per day. And that is what it lasts long. World has grown up. We got 2 teams. If that in this World Cup, if I have to look at it, you got 10 teams, means you have 2 teams playing, 8 of them resting. It should be the other way. 6 supposed to play and 4 should rest. Or maybe 8 supposed to play and 2 to rest. And the way to speed up, and then after give them some, yes, definitely you're going to have parallel day, means one day you're going to have 3 or 4 matches at same time. So we are used to in US, like if you go for the Sunday football, we have 3-4 games going on at same time. People will be only watching to their loved one teams only. So what is the point limiting 2 teams to play per day? In my opinion, they need to have multiple games on the day. If the Indian fan, he will definitely watch India. Otherwise, he'll turn off the TV. So what's the point? If somebody from Pakistan, same thing. West Indies, same thing. So it's like, if you have 4 games on the same day, the fans will decide what channel they need to tune in.
Yes, or get a second TV set.
Remember, we raised this point earlier.
I carry 4 of them in my house, in my room.
So there you are, so we can actually see more than one game at a time. So
I normally watch soccer games. Whenever the international soccer goes, like FIFA or Olympic, we have 2-3 games going on, and sometimes I feel, depends on my timing, I keep the regular game on one TV live and another TV is for standby. Like if the highlights coming, I can turn around my head.
yes, yes.
I don't change the channels.
Okay. There was a talk I heard also of past Indian captain not being invited to
yes.
Attend certain portion of the events. How true is this, Coach? Or perhaps if you don't know how true it is, have you heard this talk?
Well, the things are going on, news spreading out, but one thing for say, the fact, I did not see Kapil Dev, the champion captain from 1983, and MS Dhoni, champion captain from 2011, were present in the stadium. That is the fact.
Yeah.
They were available or not, they were invited or not, it's beyond our control. And I don't think I have any answer for that, but I can definitely say it's definitely missing component in this particular final when we have so many other celebrities and dignities out there. And at the same time, I will say, while we are on this topic, and you might be coming the next question on same story, in the original agenda about the final festivities, they declare that there will be a World Cup captains, the champion captains will have a parade, and did not happen. I did not see any captain from old World Cups. I believe only Ricky Ponting was there because of the commentary. Other than that, there were no
Clive Lloyd
captains.
was there.
Yeah, Clive Lloyd was there until semi-final, and then he took off. He wasn't there in final. Viv Richards were there until semi-final, but he wasn't captain in any World Cup. So
no.
So that's my point is, like, I only see 1 or 2 captains. So on the given final day, I think Ricky Ponting was only one in the city.
Yep.
All right. Well, all right. Overall.
And on that update, I think I hear the Imran Khan cannot make it because he's serving some kind of legal action. So he's in a jail or something. That's what I hear.
I'm sorry, so he Coach, was like, would you repeat that for me? I didn't catch all of it. What?
The Imran Khan, Pakistan captain, 1992 winning team captain,
yes,
is going through some legal consequences in Pakistan. We are not sure, but as far as I read or hear, he is serving in a jail right now, so he cannot be part of this kind of invitation.
That's sad news. But I thought I heard earlier, previously, several months ago, that he had been in, but now released. Is this something recent?
That is my point. I'm not sure. As I said, I read it or I hear from something. I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
Right.
And I'm with you. I hear that story too. Like he was booked and later released.
Yes.
And that is supposed to be.
Yes.
Yeah, probably can't get out.
Overall then, Coach, looking at the event from start to finish, apart from the items that we've just touched on, are there anything else that strikes you as missing from this tournament or could be added, or maybe they could recommend for the next one? Anything at all that you think that would make...
There's always room for improvement, and whatever the controversial situation comes or concerns came out of this, that's a learning point. And it's always look for the improvement. That's how the sports business is. And I believe they'll be looking into. The fan side, it's really fantastic to say. I see that safety and security both were maintained really high at each and every stadium. So it's a good thing to see. So I believe this is the India showing you the capacity, what they're capable of. They are ready for the world stage event. And I will not be surprised that they might be bidding for the future Olympics, first time in India, because they are capable. If they can host such a large scale of tournament, right, they can manage Olympic team.
So, Leon, any one item or two?
Yeah, well, of course, you know what stood out? The 201, that masterful innings when Afghanistan had
Glenn Maxwell, okay.
Maxwell, man, that was a masterful performance, and you know,
Yes.
unbelievable.
Yes.
And then, of course, the Shami bowling, of course, the Fifers, and all in all, I enjoyed it all, and left some sleepless nights, but I didn't use up all my sleep. I got up early in the morning, went to bed early, get up early in the mornings to, even though I miss a few, I can go back and see I see the replay. But it was just such an awesome experience. I wish I were there, at least.
Well, I can say, add on to that one, there is a common component in almost every World Cup. If you look at these all teams who has won the World Cup, has been a panic moment before they reach the final, right? First World Cup, let's take West Indies. It was Alvin Kallicharran who turned around against Dennis Heath, right?
Yes.
Second World Cup, I think Viv Richards, those
The
3-4 runouts and those, right? If you look at India, that's a Kapil Dev's 175 from 17 for 5.
Yeah.
And then you got a great catch of Viv Richards and change the world, right? If I carry on all this World Cup, if you look at
and Roberts,
the championship team had some downtime, some panic time, and at that point, someone triggered the team and pull it away. And when it came to the final, it came out with a different hero. So, for example, 1983, if I recall it back, it was a Kapil Dev who pulled them from that Zimbabwe trouble from 17 for 5, right? But when final came out, Kapil Dev just took one catch and 1 wicket. But look at the Mohind Amarnath came from
domino effect.
He took 5 wickets, right?
Domino
So these things like happens here. So in Australia's this recent World Cup, Glenn Maxwell's that inning against Afghanistan was the turning point to be in the final.
Yep.
And these heads 137 in the final. It's a role he played to keep the team on a championship line.
Well, all right. Thanks, Coach. Leon, you mentioned Shami. You said it was 5-4. It was actually 6 in. But you know what is stick out is the fact that Shami was dropped and discarded from the Indian team for the previous. Was it not the previous World Cup, Coach?
2 matches, isn't it?
No, first 2 matches, and previously he was out of squad for a reason. I think he wasn't dropped. See, India has so many players, and when they are rotating and putting, so there are 2 reasons. Either they are resting them, or they are trying different alternative, but they are all good talent. India, I will never use like he was dropped. But they have so many players, and everyone are looking for the opportunities to play. So that's like a rotation schedule or selector's mind to rest somebody and try someone. So that's like ongoing process in India.
Well, talking about players that were left out, Sanjay Samson, he has some growth.
Yes.
He has some growth, and it seems as if somebody is intimating that he should come to the USA. So I don't know if that will be, but
I'm sure
it would not. India has so many resources. They can afford to lose Samson and still in the top 3 in the world.
Well, they have transfers in football and baseball and NFL, so why not cricket? Coach, my final thought, I think, here is that I wish and hope that ICC will rethink their squad numbers. In other words, the numbers that they're using, I think it's probably 15.
Right now 15 need to go 18.
That needs to be increased because it's too much of a hassle to get somebody who's back home, how many thousands of miles away, get them on they were not fit because they'd been relaxing, and then suddenly they get the call, you're needed, and you have to go in and then be prepared to produce. So we need to have the squad number. I'm not sure why they keep it at 15, but
That's
certainly
old
15,
tradition from the Test cricket.
too low.
Old tradition.
In my
and
opinion, I think in my opinion, the two factors you have to consider is the length of time of tournament, number one, and the workload, means how many number of games you play. So in my opinion, I will say if you are a month-long tournament and you are expected to play up to 8 games, including playoff and finals, I will say go for the 16-member team.
16?
Yes, I'm coming to the point now.
Okay.
If the tournament is between 4 to 6 weeks, and you are expected to play 8 games again or more, then you need to go 18 players. So that way the players can be rested. If someone is injured, you don't have to go through this process of eligibility criteria, whether the player can be replaced or not. And then you are looking at the board to send the replacement, and then player is flying out. Sometimes you don't have enough time for the travel player to get there and stay relaxed. No, as soon as he lands there, next day he has to be on the field. So it is like things need to be changed, the logistic part. And for the safe side, I will say all international events should have a roster of 18, no matter what. And then you can cut down, like on a game day, like the soccer does. You give them the 14 players active on that particular day out of that 18.
Yes.
And then top of that, you follow your normal routine of giving them 11 and 12 men.
Well, I certainly would increase it from 18 to 20, Coach. Yeah.
And that's another suggestion that I'm hearing is that some are proposing 240 over matches and the use of one ball.
Yeah, well.
Overall in this World Cup, World Cup, only Sri Lanka has used more injured players than any other team.
Yes. Okay.
There are 5 teams did not change any player. So if you look at these numbers and analyze proper way, I think it makes sense to have 18 players maximum is good enough.
Yeah, fine.
But what are your thoughts about the 40 overs? I think it's a guy from...
Well, that's not the topic for today. We can keep guessing the 20, 30, 22 overs, 11 overs. There's all sort of ideas out there.
All right, gentlemen, it's been swell. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, for being part of the discussion. We hope and invite people to join us on thecricketshow.org, and hope that we will see you again sometime in the near future for our next get-together. Good night.
Thank you all, and good night.
Good night. Good night.